Hello, wonderful people. Welcome back to the channel. Pray all are doing well by the grace of God. So today we're going to be diving into another love story that has taken the internet by storm, and that is of Adrienne, Balon, and Israel Houghton. So this time it has sparked a heated conversations. So during a recent interview, Mr. Houghton revealed that Adrienne prayed for him after learning he had cheated on his wife. And not long after that, they started dating and then they got married. So a lot of other things were revealed at this interview, but some people see it as a testimony of grace and redemption, while others believe it shows red flags, manipulation, and misplaced responsibility. So let's take a closer look at the reactions and what people are really saying.
The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career's over. It's where I was at.
Because you're in ministry.
Yes. And my livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not, or a superhuman Christian, by the way, like a super Christian. And what I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. And I expected her to go, see, all guys are the same.
To do that.
And she leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends. And I sobbed at that little table. And she just basically said, God, please help this man know that he's not what he's done.
That's how I know moments like that are God. Because that's not my natural instinct. My natural instinct is not to be like, let me pray for you. My natural instinct would have been to be like,
oh no,
this is exactly.
By the way, I know this about you.
Yeah.
Because your biggest fear used to be when you were dating.
Yeah.
You know what you used to always be afraid
What?
if you were dating, that somebody would cheat on you.
Oh, 100%. To be honest, it still is a very real thing for me. Like that to me would be the end. Like that to me is like,
Game over.
game over. Yeah. So to really believe that and know that, and I've preached that on the reel, and to be that person and then marry someone who has been that, didn't make sense to me at all in my logical mind. But in that moment, I don't know. That's how I know it was God. Because in that moment, I literally reached over and was like praying for him. Guys, the big pow is the fact that I'm sweating so bad.
Why are you sweating? Can we? The air is because of the noise.
It's me announcing, hey guys, I'm in menopause. It's so bad.
What's happening?
Yes, and it's so bad. I did 6 years of IVF, and then like when you stop that, it triggers your body to believe that like.
Oh, I have some friends who have gone through that.
So it comes earlier than normal, and so I'm like, this woman
dying?
This woman was blow drying my hair. I cannot make this up. Woman was blow drying my hair, and literally while she's blow drying, she's like, it's not drying. Like the makeup artist is doing my makeup. She keeps looking at my face, and I go on my phone and I'm like, what does a hot flash feel like? Right. And I like Googled it on my phone, and I said, guys, I think I'm having a hot flash. When I turned around, this literal hairstylist starts crying. She was actually concerned because she kept drying a spot of hair, but I was sweating so bad that the piece of hair would get wet again. The makeup was running down my face. They were like, you looked like what a cartoon character would show menopause looking like. That was me. It was like, psh, just faucet.
Oh my gosh.
So bear with me, y'all.
Oh, so today's going to be fun.
I don't think that I would have known I needed you and the person that you are had I not dated people who I didn't get that from and that I wanted that from. Does that make sense? I always tell you, I would be like, I feel like I forced a lot of things, or like I would ask for attention. I never had to ask that of you because you gave it freely.
Did you look for that, or it just landed?
No, it landed, and I needed to pay attention to it because I could have taken it for granted.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have it before, I was able to go,
This
wait,
is different.
this is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to. And there's no game playing. Oh my God, did I hate the game playing of like, who's going to text each other first? Who's going to, like, you're just not that person. You're like, we're not doing that. Like, this is how I feel about you. You know what it is. If you want to ask me something, if you feel uncomfortable about something, like we can talk about it. And I never had, it was always always felt kind of like a game.
How much of that is other people, or was that you too? Like,
oh, for sure, it was me too, because
yeah.
I think at some point you think that game is enticing. You're like, ooh, mystery, the game. And then you're like, ooh, ooh, I'm so sad. He doesn't love me. You know, like, then you wake up one day and you're like, yo, he really doesn't like me.
Did anybody else have the misfortune of seeing that interview with Adrienne from the Cheetah Girls and her current husband, Israel Houghton? I need them to know that y'all don't have a good love story. Okay, that was actually cringe and embarrassing, and I cannot stand people who use religion as a weapon, who use religion and God to dodge taking accountability for their actions. Israel Houghton is a very, very famous gospel singer, okay? I was listening to him as a kid. And this man repeatedly cheated on his wife. Had children outside of the marriage, right? And then popped out with Adrienne from the Cheetah Girls while he was still married. And in this interview, you would think that he was the one who got cheated on. Like, he is talking as though he is the victim, for one. And oh my gosh, like, I just couldn't believe this happened to me, and I was so shamed, and I was in a dark place. And I'm just like, you're the one who cheated. And he's also phrasing it as though God did this, you know, so he could end up in the marriage that he's in now. Like, that's what it gave. And it's just like, you have a choice. God gives us a choice, and you made a choice. God did not tell you to fornicate. God did not tell you to commit adultery. Don't blame your sin on my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, okay? And it is so clear that Adrienne was dealing with this man while he was married, and she knew he was married, and she didn't care. She didn't care, okay? Because he's saying, you know, when I was still married, we were just friends at the time. Why are you, a married man who has already been caught cheating multiple times, has had children outside of your marriage, why are you even engaging in, you know, any type of friendship with a woman? You lack self-control. You don't need female friends. What do you need a female friend for? Your wife. That is your friend, okay? And, you know, when I told her everything that I did, she just prayed for me, and I just knew, Adrienne, you were a pick me. Like, you met a man who was telling you that he's been cheating on his wife, blah, 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 and, you know, and she said, I just told him, like, that doesn't define who you are, and, you know, I just really prayed for him. It was just very cringe, and it's just like, don't ever tell that story again. Don't ever tell that story again. You were sleeping with a married man. You didn't care that he was married. You know, his marriage was on the last leg, so you got promoted because the wife left. Like, and the only reason why he probably won't cheat on you is because you're old, or because he's old. And I mean, you're a star, so it's gonna come out. You're more likely to leave, okay? But they need to shut the hell up and don't ever tell that story again. Like, stop acting like y'all, you know, God just placed y'all together. Y'all are disgusting.
The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career's over. My livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not. What I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. She leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends.
I think people believe that if they've been happily married for 10, 15, 20 years, that it doesn't really matter how they got together. Because you're telling me this married man came to you while he was cheating on his wife, and you didn't pray for his marriage, you prayed for him. She goes on to talk about how her biggest fear is being cheated on. So you married the man who cheated on his wife? I just feel like people think it doesn't matter as long as they're happy now. We all could have gone our entire lives not knowing this is how they got together, but they insist on telling us. And these men insist on saying it like it's some kind of humiliation ritual. Look at all I put her through, but she's still here. There is a viral clip of her talking about how he had to show her his divorce papers.
Yo, you got me out here looking crazy. Like, let me see the paperwork.
So you wanted to verify that the man that you were comforting and counseling when he was cheating on his wife wasn't also cheating on you. And of course, they put God in it. And they talked about how the old her would have been like, I'm not messing with no man who cheated on his wife. But this version of her was able to comfort him and to pray with him. It's like the pastor who ironed her husband's clothes while he prepared to meet his mistress. They always act like God gave them the grace to deal with these flawed men. I'm sure they think their marriage is beautiful. But some of these origin stories.
Jared said, if you guys don't end up together, this will be the saddest love story of all time, because I liked him so much. And I still say this, like, I like you. Like, obviously I love you and I'm in love with you. But, you know, when you talk to people about marriage, the main thing they'll tell you is like, it's ebb and flow. It's ebb and flow. I always like you though. I like the person that you are. I like talking to you. Like, even if I'm mad at you, I still want to come tell you what's going on. I still want to be mad at other people with you. You know,
She will even preface like, "I'm so mad at you, but I gotta tell you the coolest thing that happened."
I like, and that is just the truth. Like, I really like you, but he's made me a better person.
Adrienne and Israel got married in November 2016. Israel got divorced in February of 2016 from his wife of 20 plus years. And this is why everybody's dragging Adrienne, because this clip from the Angie Martinez show is like, let's watch the clip.
She leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends.
So basically, what he's trying to say is him and Adrienne were just friends, and he confided in her and said he cheated on his wife and he didn't know what to do. And she said, "Don't worry, I'll pray for you." And just a few short months after that, they got married. This is actually not the first time that they're trying to like justify their timeline. She actually addressed this on The Real. I used to watch The Real all the time, and she talked about it on the show. And she said with her own mouth that him and his wife were already separated before they got together, and that he had already filed for divorce. But that timeline is kind of close. Like, it was literally within the same year. All of this been swirling around, and we have not heard one word from his ex-wife. Where you at, honey? We want to hear from you, because we know there's always two sides to every story. And I'm really curious to know what's her side of it.
Adrienne, my cheetah sister, next time, do us all a favor and leave him at home. Some things we just don't need to know. You being the woman that Israel ran to vent to after he cheated on his previous wife was not something we needed to know. Especially when we know that you used to stalk him while he was in that marriage. Mind you, I love a good love story, but unfortunately this one right here is just not romantic enough for me. Just because prayer was involved doesn't mean it was romantic. For Adrienne to be as gorgeous as she is, I never expected her to be the type to wait around. And you cannot tell me that's not what she did. The girl waited around for her turn. You married a man who cheated on his previous wife, and you were the woman he came to talk to about it. Do you know how down bad do you have to be to tolerate something like that? This man fathered 2 children on his previous wife. What makes you think he's not going to do it to you?
I watched the Adrienne and Israel interview, and I have some thoughts. First of all, it started coming up in my For You page because everyone was here upset because Adrienne kept talking highly about her husband. And, you know, how could she pray for him as he had just told him he was a cheater, and she took a cheater, and she was so desperate that she went ahead and married him even though he was a cheater. And quite honestly, I'm extremely disappointed because a lot of these people call themselves Christians. And my whole thing is this: how can we sit here as Christians and judge a person for a mistake they made and not think that they are capable of being redeemed and given grace by God? I mean, at some point, all of us have told a lie. If you tell me you've never told a lie, but my question is, does that make you a liar your entire life? No, you made a mistake. You told a lie. You're gonna say you're sorry. You're gonna redeem yourself and not do it again. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, and that is okay. But here's a man who owned up to his mistakes, who understands that he hurt someone, who understands it was wrong, and we are still shaming him for admitting his mistake. What he did was actually commendable. He is admitting it, and he's talking about what happened, no longer ashamed, but proud of the redeeming God who made him a better person. He kept saying, if I change one thing, I would change everything. And it includes this mistake that he has owned up to. How great is it to be able to say what you did out loud with so much freedom, knowing God has forgiven you? And then another thing is that we keep talking about Adrienne. We're here saying, oh, how could you just hear this? And then she prays for him. That's exactly what she needed to do. She did what a woman of God had to do. She prayed for him. And then other people are like, well, she should have gotten him and the wife together and prayed for them as a couple. Yes, she could have done that. But at that moment, it was him who spoke to her. It was him who had just told her something negative is about to happen. So what was she supposed to do? Oh, brother, hold on. Wait a second. Let's get your wife. Let's talk about this first. No, she took the opportunity to pray for him at that moment, as she should. So again, I don't understand, how certain people can sit here and say, oh, look at him, he made this. It doesn't mean that that's who he is today. Yes, that's who he was at that moment. That's what he did. But it doesn't define who he is today. Or do we forget all the things that we have done and God and people have forgiven us for, and it no longer defines us? So when I look at this testimony that he's given, I don't look at it as, how could you? You're saying this so proud. I look at this as, wow, how great is it to be freed from something that, so freed from something that you can say it out loud and look back on it and see how far you've come. Because again, if God forgave them, who are you to not do the same?
Everybody been talking about Adrienne Bailon and the Andrew Martinez interview with her in Israel. So I've been learning just more about their union, and I know he cheated on his ex-wife and all the things and how they got together. It was a little murky. I knew he cheated on his ex-wife. I didn't know he had 2 outside babies on the ex-wife that he was with for 20 plus years. Adrienne, what the hell is you doing? There's something to be said about women who are baddies and they don't know that they're baddies, so they end up settling when it comes to men. I hate to see a bad bitch waste her potential. I hate to see it. I don't understand. There's a point in time Adrienne could have had whoever she wanted. Why the hell did you end up with Israel Houghton? And he's like, I don't know. I don't see the appeal. But learning that he had 2 outside kids on his ex-wife.
You don't even need to be trying to talk to me in no little fresh way, because once I find out you got a wife, once I find out you're in a relationship, but mostly once I find out you got a wife, big dog, I stop looking at you. Like, I turn something off in my brain. I'm like, nah. And let me tell you why. Because, see, I used to be sick in the head like a lot of you. I used to think, okay, you young, you could pull them. And then, listen, women, a lot of times other women, they sleeping with your husband because they got this mindset. The mindset is, if he don't care about his wife, why should I care about his wife? How do I know that? Used to be sick in the head. Okay, that is not the way you should think about it. Think about it like one day you go be a wife, because you should want to be a wife. I get it. A lot of y'all independent, you don't need no man for nothing. I need a man, honey. And guess what? The enemy had almost robbed me because I was sick in the head, and I thought that since he didn't care about his wife, I don't care about his wife. No, you need to care about his wife, because he's slow. He's so slow that he don't even know he's supposed to care about his wife, to a point where should no other woman even feel secure enough with even looking at him or even like crossing lines with him. But a lot of times y'all husbands, they be embarrassing y'all out here in these streets. But you don't have to be sick in the head as a woman. Don't fool around with nobody else man. It's just that simple. You shouldn't want nobody else man. You shouldn't want nobody else kids. You shouldn't want nobody else job. You shouldn't want nobody else life. It's just that simple.
Thank you guys for watching. I will conclude by saying that at the end of the day, love and faith are powerful, but they don't erase the need for accountability and wisdom. Because when it comes to major decisions in life like marriage, it's important as Christians not to go ahead of God. It's important to always be in line, in shape, in order with the will of God for our lives, or with what God wants for us, so that we can be able to receive that which He wants for us, the best, which is the best. And so one thing is certain: relationships are complex. Whether you see Adrienne and Israel's story as a testimony of grace or a warning sign, we can all learn from the conversations they spark. So what's your take? Share your thoughts below, and let's grow together. Let's learn together. Once again, thank you all for your support. Let's keep the community growing. Until next time, bye bye.